and kind of crime stuff. So just finished that. So we have a run up one of the hills and get a beautiful sunrise and stuff. So just finished that. So it's beautiful.
Nice. Oh, lovely. How often do you do that? Is that quite recent?
Yeah, so I've just started doing it over the last like 4 or 5 weeks. So I just do kind of once a week, but there's opportunities to do more kind of if you want to. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's really good. It's really good. Have you got funding for that, or is it just kind of something that's just been organised? Or
there is a bit of funding. I'm pretty new to the organisation, but the people who've founded it, they do pretty well with securing funding. It's not obviously that easy.
It's difficult.
There's a few staff who are probably not being paid massive amounts of money, but there's a bit of a love for doing it more than
that's why. Well, that's why you get into stuff like this, don't you? You know, when I got into occupational therapy, I did it because I want to help people. You know, that's that's always in the forefront of my mind. I always want to try and help people do better. That'll be our sort of goal this year, because the group's fairly new. It's sort of been running since December, really. It's blown up since December. I set up the group on my own 2 years ago. It was a mixed group. Didn't quite know what to do with it. Obviously, I've got my skills, which I really wanted to use to help people. But a couple of years ago, I just kind of set the group up and opened it up to everybody. And then me and Johnny we're all friends from school, and we've sort of gone through struggles of our own in the last few years. We talked about doing this podcast last year, and we ended up setting it up in September. And then we come up with the idea to specialise in men's mental health. And December, I put a few posts on. I just thought I'm just gonna really narrow it down. I just want to work with males, because I think we're a unique bunch, aren't we? So I thought I put a few posts across Facebook groups, and then lots of people started joining. I messaged Johnny, who was in the group anyway. I said, "Do you want to do it together?" And he was like, "Why not?"
Yeah.
And we've gone from there, really. Yeah. So hopefully, we're looking to get some funding, apply for funding this year. I've had a meeting with someone, a fellow therapist, on Saturday, and she sort of put me in contact with the right people and where to apply for the funding. So it's going to take some time, but Rome wasn't built in a day, was it? So
no, absolutely. So
go for it, mate.
Yeah, like I've seen you guys do some great work. Obviously,
thanks,
I'm fairly new to it as well. But yeah, love your work.
Thank you.
So what would be the plan with the funding? What would be the kind of goals?
Walking. We want to do a lot of walking. Obviously, this is a worldwide thing, and I think there's a lot of questions around people asking around how can I overcome these issues I'm having? How can I respond more effectively to anxiety, depression? So I want to try and secure funding for people that want to change around coaching and stuff like that, because I think not everybody's got the money to pay for bespoke one-to-one coaching across the world. And I think if I can secure funding for that, I can get more people doing it in the group, more therapists involved, like Johnny and me, and we can really help. We can really make a difference across the world as well. I specialise in something called acceptance and commitment therapy. It was. You've seen that? Yeah, I was coached by an occupational therapist about 4 years ago, and I kind of fell in love with it. I just thought I tried stuff in the past for my own journey, cognitive behavioural therapy. I just didn't feel I got the best out of it. Whereas with this, we just clicked, and I had a conversation with a fellow therapist today, because I actually coached her a few years ago, and she said to me, I said, "Oh, how are you doing, by the way?" She went, "Yeah, I still have a wobble, which is expected, but I know how to respond to it." And I said, "Do you feel like laid back these days?" Like, she went, "Yeah." I said, "So do I." I said, That's ACT. I said it's what I like about it is the tools that you learn about and that you're taught, they're with you for life, and it's kind of like you come to the realization that anxiety is here for life. You can sort of normalize it and accept it and let it sort of pass over time, which is one thing. In years ago, I used to have this black cloud over my head, and it's like, I don't know why I feel like this. Why am I feeling like this? And it's ACTS really does help with that, unpicking things and understanding you. So it's funding. So yeah, funding for. I mean, we really want to do the walks across the UK. Lots of workshops, funding for workshops, funding for the coaching, as much as we can, really, Ross.
Yeah, cool.
Really make a difference.
I'm fairly new to the group, but do you guys already do like kind of either online groups or in person kind of group meetings?
Yeah. So we do the workshops. That's fairly new. So we've got a walk coming up. Week on Sundays, isn't it, Johnny? Oh, was he just froze there? He might have just. Yeah. Yeah. So you've kind of organised that, haven't you?
What's that?
Yeah,
yeah,
so I've got into my walking last few years. So I love hiking, getting out there, just in nature basically. So
yeah, it's good.
I thought it's a chance for people to meet up, get people out as well, and get people chatting. So I think anything, to organise more that'd be great. That people to meet in person, really.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Absolutely, and it's free, So we've got that. We're doing that. Doing the workshops as well, aren't we? Delivering workshops, just freebies really. Got one on Sunday on mindfulness. Again, it's one of the techniques I use in ACTS for unhooking from difficult thoughts and feelings. It's called dropping anchor. Be about 15 minutes, and I just need to organise a time this week to do that on Sunday. We've put some. We've put like a 4-week coaching workshop in the files for people to sort of have a go at and see how they get on. So yeah, we're trying to fill up the files with a lot of free resources as well, for people. Well, yeah, it's just kind of see where it goes, really, Ross. And yeah,
you guys will do great with that.
Thanks very much, man. Thanks.
I think on that, something I found really helpful here, and I'm sure it's going on kind of in different parts of the world, was just a real simple kind of men's mental health meetup. And I kind of went originally. I was kind of struggling a little bit with like physical health, bit of lack of energy, and I was definitely getting into my mental health. And kind of thought, it's probably going to be a bunch of kind of miserable guys just talking about problems, but it was nothing really like that. Like, sure, we're discussing kind of challenges we've got. Like we've all got challenges, right? At any kind of different
absolutely, time. All the time,
But we'd still have a bit of a laugh. It was kind of lighthearted. We'd have a bit of banter, take the piss out of each other a bit.
Kind of that's us.
It's been a really good thing we've not done it for a while, but a really good thing. Just you can have a chat, pretty honest. It's a very, very safe, non-judgmental space. And then other guys can have a bit of a chance to give you a kind of different perspective, and you can give maybe a different perspective, and it's worked brilliant. Really good bunch of guys. I've made some really good friends through that. And actually, what I was saying that there's probably guys with some really inspiring stories that you guys could talk to.
That'd be great.
Guys in those rooms that I'm like, wow, like I would read about people turning their lives around from these things, or watch stuff about it, or listen to podcasts about it. Just brilliant. So yeah, I think stuff like that. We were doing that kind of once a month for a while. We've not had one for a while, but I think anything like that. It sounds like you guys are going to do it like with the walking. There was kind of walking groups like that as well. And if you can format in that kind of way, great.
Absolutely, that'd be the dream. Yeah, I'd love to do eventually. Depends how far we get with funding. Little trips, stuff, trips abroad and stuff like that. just have to see how far it goes. Really thinking out the box, because I think here in the UK, I don't think there's enough going on for men's mental health. Like there is a lot of I think it's Andy's Man's Club, which is pretty good, but there is some organisations that are doing good work, but I think there could be more done specific for men.
Could always be more done, and certainly in terms of like support for people struggling with mental health, to try and speak to somebody like here, it's a very long waiting list. But some of the organizations that other people have set up, that's been I think a really good thing. It's not reaching everybody, like you can still reach more people, but it's reaching hopefully some people, and then hopefully other people then reach out. Like I always try and recommend these things to people I see, like guys I see, and then hopefully pulling other people in. But you mentioned
go for it, Michael.
You mentioned like the you wanted to do the niche of like men's mental health. I think that makes total sense. Like it's not that you're dismissing other people's mental health of any gender.
No, completely.
I'm sure you could still help there, but
this is it.
It's what we know as men, right? Like, and we don't really know what it's kind of like to be a man or whatever.
I think it's. I was in a lot of mixed mental health groups for a while, and I think there's a lot of men that can hold themselves back. I think when you've got that safe space, that just males talking amongst males, I think it really helps, because we have had women filling the pre-questionnaires out, but I'll always message them back, and I just say I am trying to keep it male specific in this group, and it's nothing against you. It's just because I have explained it as a safe space for men, really, to open up.
And there'll be women specific groups as well.
I
must admit, I think that was one of the best things about the group for me. I was thinking about it was that thing of, because everybody was sharing challenges, and obviously you can share as much or as little as you want, and I think often it can feel like it's just you who's struggling with something or a particular thing. But when you listen to other people, and then you see everybody in society, you know that everybody's got some sort of challenge, and they're normally similar sort of challenges, but different as well, and maybe different sizes. And not that I want people to have challenges, but I think, although we grow from challenges, but I think that was kind of quite a good reminder and quite comforting for me to be like, right, it's not just me struggling,
No, it's completely true, and I think a lot of men I speak to, including myself, when I was struggling with managing my emotions, and often alcohol would be my go-to to suppress my emotions. Not so much in the week because I'd work, that was my focus, but as soon as it got to Friday, if something, because I had a lot of personal issues going on for years, and I'd kind of just use that to numb the pain, and I had no insight into why I was doing it, no self-awareness. It was kind of like I thought, well, let's just help him for now, and it was kind of like a vicious cycle. You get to Monday, you start feeling down, you start feeling depressed, you start questioning everything, your work, where you are in life, and I really broke that cycle. I really worked on self-awareness, because, like I said, we still get urges because we're always going to face circumstances and events in our lives. But I think this time around now, even if I do get an urge, it's kind of like I could just do with a beer now. But whereas now it doesn't turn into 10, 11 pints. It might just be one, or it might be, do I actually need that beer? Is that beer going to move my life in the right direction? Or, how am I going to feel the next day, and what's it going to prevent me from doing if I have another binge again? So those questions, but it's the same with everything, really, Ross. Everything takes time, and I think getting there, you have to change another element or aspect in your life. It was like I was talking the other day about these antibiotics I have to take for my face at the minute. Folliculitis I've got, and the dermatologist had given me for 3 months, but on the odd occasion I was forgetting to take them. So I was like, right, I need to remember. right, what can I do here? So, right, well, my routine every morning, I've got my face wash. I'm going to put the medication there. Every morning, I'm going to get up. I'll see them. It's a queue. I'll take one. That's just a little habit that and be more consistent. And it doesn't. Even with drink, it's if you can change something else, you can work towards that. Then it doesn't necessarily have to be like because when you're trying to change, I think you change your habits around drink. It can feel like a momentous task. It can feel massive, can't it? I think, but if you can tweak some little areas in your life, then you start to build that self-awareness. You're building better habits, and then you can work towards that as well. But everything takes time, does it? I think I agree with what you were saying before. It's similar here in the UK with waiting lists. Waiting for a counsellor or a therapist. I think the last time I required one was, I think it was 4 years ago, and I was probably waiting 12 months, and I didn't actually get to see one. They said they'd sent some letters out, and I didn't receive them, and then I was taken off the waiting list. And then I thought, right, I'm going to have to pay privately. So I found this acceptance and commitment therapist who was an occupational therapist, and she just changed my life from there, really.
Brilliant, man.
So it was, it's brilliant. Best money I ever spent, that.
What's that?
Seriously. Oh, yeah. Oh, mate, I can't even, honestly, not just from that, it took over the few years now, just doing that, it's just completely opened doors for me in terms of my confidence, my motivation, just the way I look, my outlook on life now. It's completely different, and how I respond,
And now you've turned around to the point where you're now like helping loads of other people. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, this is it. I thought I've got to give something back. I've got to spread the message. It's
and then yourself, you then feel good for doing that, right? So then kind of no, it's not selfish, but you do get a lot back out of that, I'm sure, as well, right?
Oh, hugely, yeah. It just takes a little bit. It's like I put a few posts up on Facebook, some of the Facebook groups last night, and I think we've had joins today. I think we've had about 150 males join today. And I was like, kind of a bit overwhelmed with I just thought, probably get 2 or 3 men joining the group, and I was like, ping, ping, ping every 2 minutes, and I'm like, bleeding hell. I was like, it's just the fact that you're getting something back from that, people joining, and the engagement the last week has been incredible as well, just people talking. And that's just people opening up. That's the start of things, and asking questions. Yeah. That leads to, it's great.
I think what was that, mate? I said, I think I like the.
Go on.
Sorry. I was saying I like the thing you're talking about, the tiny habits. I think those are massive, and it can feel pretty daunting to make the big changes. And I think around the alcohol thing, just something that I'd kind of found helped me. Like I wasn't really drinking to get drunk.
Yeah.
At all or much. I would do that occasionally, but it was too much of a habit where I'd have like a beer or a glass of wine after work, and it would just be a few. And again, I wasn't getting drunk. I enjoyed the taste of it. I remember I was speaking to a naturopath, and they were like, get rid of alcohol, get rid of coffee, and I was like, like my favorite things. Like I always find like the first day of giving up those kind of things is like the hardest, because you're like, what if it's like so bad, it makes my day like horrible, and I really want something, but it's never like that. You find something else to kind of replace it or something.
Ross, I think like in terms of when somebody says that to you, you need to get rid of. For me, it's the wrong thing to say. You need to get rid of coffee and you need to get rid of alcohol. It's like, right, well, my argument is, I'll talk about this in the coming weeks. It's like, right, well, if you're drinking alcohol to celebrate or savor the moment, that's fine. But if you're using it as to become self-destructive, that's a problem. But you can change there is a possibility of changing your relationship with alcohol. So you've got, like you said, you've got a better relationship with it. And it's the same with coffee. I love a coffee. I could have 4 or 5 espressos in the morning. I'm like, I've cut that down. I've been told you need to stop coffee. It's like, well, no, I enjoy it. Maybe I need to change my relationship with coffee. Maybe that's what I need to do. if I enjoy the taste, but I probably do need to stop having 4 to 5 to 6 espressos. If I can have 2 in the morning, that's great. But it's not easy. Like saying to someone, you need to, unless you've obviously got a medical condition. That is, things need to be changed drastically, then, don't they? But I think for the likes of us, if I think that we could certainly look at changing our relationship with it. Certainly.
And like with alcohol, like it wouldn't bother me if I never had a drink again. I don't think.
Yeah.
I might be teetotal at some point, but I think I changed my relationship with it a bit, and it was too much of a habit. And then I thought, well, I'll only drink at weekends. But then if I had like a Thursday and a Friday off, Wednesday night's a weekend, a Sunday night's still a weekend.
Yeah.
5 nights out of 7. I thought,
right,
I've got to change this. So I actually, and this might help other people. I think it's a UK app. It's Drink Coach, and there's different apps. And I just I thought, right, if I can, I'll just do like a week or a couple of weeks or however many weeks without anything. I wasn't going to deprive myself if like there was an event I was going to and I really wanted a beer or something. But I found that a lot more helpful. And then the app was really cool. You can put in what you've had, how many units it is. And it was just nice to see like full weeks or even full months where I wasn't having anything. And it's like, and I wasn't like, desperate for it. Like I quite like an alcohol-free beer. I think they're great.
Yeah.
Have 1 or 2 of them in the evening or whatever.
Yeah, don't mind. Yeah.
And now, a bit like yourself, I'm like, oh yeah, I can have that beer, but it's not going to turn into,
several 10.
Whatever. And
you kind of know, you've kind of got to the point where you could have a couple and you go, right, that's me, I'm done. It's great, that's good to get to that point. Takes work though, doesn't it?
So that does it
bit.
Like track your progress a little bit? Sorry.
What was that, mate?
So that drink app, does it track your progress, or you just put it in when
it's really good. I think it's Drink Coach. It's called.
I'll have a look at that. That's good.
And you can get like a summary of what you've had in like a day or a week or a month, or a year or whatever period you want, and it'll tell you like how many units you've had. It shows you how many alcohol-free days you've had, maybe how much money you've spent. Like that's a bit speculative because it's like how much is it if it's in a pub versus at home or whatever. But just like I think a lot of us probably work quite well when we see some data around it. It certainly helped me where I could be like, oh yeah, I had like 7 weeks, and then if I was like, oh, I could have a beer, but then I'll go, oh, but I'll break my streak, so I don't want to do that. Be more, oh, I've got that.
Do you know what that is? That's people like accountability. People like being sort of held accountable. So tracking that, having a look at that's like an outcome measure. It's like you can track that progress. It's kind of like that's holding you accountable. Whereas if it's like if you're just doing it without any accountability, you're kind of like, well, what did unless you're going to start asking yourself questions, it's like, how did I do that? And how do we get back to that point again? And how well have I done? I certainly work better with outcome measures and accountability. I think sometimes a lot of people need it these days, don't they? Because life's busy. There's other stresses as well, isn't there? That's really good, that.
Yeah, I'd recommend it for a lot of people. And I'm sure you'd be different things, or the same sort of thing would work for different habits. Like, and there's a lot of different habit trackers out there. That was just a kind of specific one for alcohol. Yeah. And probably also
that's good. That's good.
It probably stopped me and think, well, why do I want that glass of wine, or why do I want that beer? And there's probably been some good podcasts I've listened to about it, or like read a bit about it. And it was a bit like what you were saying earlier, being like, do I really want that? Like, did you ever read Adrian Child's book or see his documentary on alcohol?
No. Is it? No, I've not seen that. Was it really good?
That was worth a watch. I think his documentary was maybe called "Drinkers Like Me," and it just showed it like how easy it was to, fall into a trap of having probably a bit too much, even if you weren't doing it to get drunk. And his book was really good. A lot of his book was about alcohol, and he was like, you know, how many of those drinks did I really want or kind of need or whatever? And
yeah,
just kind of stuff like that was quite
it
useful.
did actually. I suppose that suppose it can depend on your job as well. You know, if your job involves socialising, going out for dinners, and drinks can be involved, that can create a vicious cycle for yourself, really, can't it? And it's kind of work around that. I do a lot of work around SMART goals. I do something called the choice point, which is it's like a clarity document, but it helps you sort of establish what your values are and how you can work towards them, and what pulls you away from them. So it's kind of like a check-in document as well. So you can use that, but you can kind of apply that to it. It's very specific to your goals and your values. So the SMART goals and the choice point. So that's what I use. I use it on myself. I think the last time I used it was at Christmas. I was having a bit of a wobble there, and I went back to this choice point document just to sort of check in where I was at and why I was getting pulled away, and how I could work towards my values again. But it worked really well. It took me a few weeks, and I was back again.
Nice.
So it's good. I'll start talking. I mean, it's not much work we can do. Is start talking about more of that, I think, as well.
And Ross, so have you lived over there for a few years? Obviously, from the UK. What's the story there?
I've lived here nearly 6.5 years. I'd lived just outside London for a couple of years. And then I had kind of a bit of a random chance of going to work in Malaysia for a bit. So I did a couple of years there. And then I kind of needed a move from there. And just here looked like a good option. I thought I'd only do a couple of years here as well. But it's been good. Not really had a reason to move on. Work's been pretty good and stuff. And lifestyle's pretty good. People are great, and it's an absolutely beautiful country. So there's always some beautiful places to see and see again, sort of thing. I think must admit, like, I've had a bit of a challenge in terms of like a bit of health and energy stuff in recent times. So I've not been kind of so much thinking of moving on to something different. But that's kind of going the right way, I think, and I'd still be open to going different places. But I suppose what I kind of figured, I always wanted to live like as many. Once I'd lived in one or two places, I was like, I just want to live as many places as possible. But it's not really very feasible or realistic. It doesn't really make total sense. Like, sure, you can be a bit of a digital nomad, and that, like, ideally I could work a bit more remotely and not be so tied to a place. But I figured it was more about my attitude to where I live. Like, if I was like always wanting to move on, like, you'd be thinking, and it's cool to experience different places, but it's more for me about your attitude to where you live and kind of what you make of it. I think that's kind of more important. And I think kind of something I figured over the last couple of years was I'm actually more interested in really mastering my own mind and emotions, a bit like what you guys are talking about there. And then it's like, well, wherever you are, you can be like as happy and fulfilled as kind of what you make of it, right? Just going to live somewhere different. It's a cool experience, but it doesn't necessarily make life better or anything.
It's how you make it, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So still be open to going to different places.
Sun help. Better weather helps, doesn't it?
I'm outside working quite a lot, and it's pretty good.
Can't say I'm not jealous.
Play a little bit of golf, but I wouldn't say I'm anything to be against people. Took it the last few years, and that was one of the things that through lockdown it was. So I got into golf just to clear my head, get out there, and I found that I enjoyed it, and I was okay at it. So just try to carry on with that really, but waiting for the weather to pick up.
I must admit, when the weather's been great here, it's been a great summer really. So when I see what the weather's like back in the UK and like people tell me about it, I'm like, nah, you're not selling it to me. But then, we'll come into winter, and you guys will go the other way.
No, subjective.
Even winter's not too bad here.
Yeah, probably your winter's probably better than our summer.
Probably sometimes it can be stunning. Something I was kind of thinking about there, like the mental health groups I was mentioning, just kind of one of the biggest takeaways I had. One of the biggest takeaways, or something I was probably always trying to say to the guys, like towards the end, would kind of wrap up, and anybody could kind of add what they wanted to add. And I just remember always thinking it could be a group of like 30 guys in the room, and all really good blokes. Anybody you'd be really happy to, have a chat with, have a beer with, or whatever. And something I kind of try and tell myself as well, like when I'm struggling, I'm like I'm quite kind, I'm quite caring.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Good value. Good values.
And I was like, I was always saying the same to the guys in the room, like, because we're all got different challenges. I think so often we'll feel like we're struggling because maybe just a feeling of like we're not good enough and all that kind of stuff. Which most of the time is just bullshit, right? And I always seen that with everybody in the room. I was like, everybody's a really good bloke, like meaning really well, like trying to do the best they can by the partners, kids, work, and all that. And I was like, you guys are like kind, caring. That's good enough.
Good quotes. It's good. It's good qualities. That comes back to what your values are. Mine are probably similar to you. Caring, loving, good listener. I'm always a good ear when I got into what I'm doing. Otherwise, love helping people. Like you said, it all comes back to it, doesn't it? It's like, don't be too hard on yourself. Something that stuck with me as well. Sometimes you'll get other people giving you their opinion of someone that you're going to meet for the first time. It might not be nice what they're saying about this person. I'm always saying, more so in recent years, I'm like, well, I'll make up my own mind when I meet them. And when I do meet them, they're quite nice.
Yeah.
You get, that's what I always say to people. Meet them for the first time.
Yeah, I'm very much like you. I've had quite a few people have, said some not so good things about other people, and I'm like, oh, yeah. It's fine. I'll figure it out myself. And sometimes you're going to go, oh, yeah, that person was right. But I'm a bit like you.
Absolutely.
I think I tend to see the good in people.
I do.
Generally, I look for that. I think generally people are good. Like we're all trying to do the best we can with what we know, right?
Absolutely. I think you can get, and then I think you get the people that try and tie you into slagging other people off and calling other people. It's like I used to have a lot of difficulty with that, but now I go, well, I haven't got a problem with it. If I like them, like, no, they're quite nice, or I'm not getting involved. It's fine. I think there's lots. I think something else. So I can say it's going back to saying to people, sometimes you fuck up. It's life. It's like sometimes we'll snap. I've done it over little things in my other half, and it's like what I tend to do a lot now is if something happens, it's like she's broke the washing machine. I'm kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna have a minute. I'll be back in a minute. Going outside for a minute. I'll just come back. There's a funny story actually, because we just had the kitchen ripped out, so it's kind of everything's all over the place at the minute. And I've been to Aldi, gone and done a shop, and I thought I'll do just because we only had the air fryer. I'll do a roast chicken tonight, and then I think I'd been gone all day, and I come back and it's like the fridge freezer had been unplugged. So I was like, how long's the fridge freezer been unplugged? I said to Judy. She said, couple of hours. I was like, but I don't know. So I just went outside. Went outside for a minute. I come back in. I went, all right, it is what it is. It's happened now. Can't change it. Sometimes just having that pause and going out rather than, for fuck's sake, there's the dinner gone. I think if you could, I find them techniques really help. Just pause, have a minute. Say you need a minute. You can build something there. If you're one of these that struggles to regulate your emotions at times.
I think it's a lot of like the stories we tell ourselves, right? Like it's trying to tell ourselves a better story about something. Like I think if somebody might, be a bit of a shit driver or cut us up or whatever, and you can just tell yourself a better story of, they might be in a big rush to get to hospital or something like that, and that's maybe a bit of an optimistic story, but I think that's quite a good thing. And like, I'm probably not that good at remembering it at the moment, but
I can be. I'm similar.
That's quite a good way. Something I kind of good story I was happy with. I told myself last year I had my car broken into and my golf clubs were stolen.
Oh man!
And initially I was like, shit! Like I wasn't really planning on having to sort all this out. And I was like, it could be worse. Like, it's only staff and nobody was like really hurt or killed. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, people were like, that's a pretty good attitude to it. And I was like, well, I can't really do anything about it. And even I was at work and I was coaching like later that day, and even kids were like, how can you not be more upset about it? Or how are you not more upset? And I was like, well, I'm here coaching you. Like this is all I can control. I can't do anything else with it now.
Yeah.
But then I was quite pleased. I told myself a better story like a week or two later. Like I actually seen my golf clubs like for sale online and all that, but I couldn't really do much about it in the end.
Yeah.
But I got to a better place where I was like, well, the person who's done it, they've taken my stuff and they've sold it. Like they've either, I kind of feel a bit bad for them because I've never really been in a situation where I've had to or I've wanted to go and steal stuff like that. But I've kind of felt I've needed to either, make money to pay bills or just for easy money. Like we probably wouldn't see that as easy money. Like I'd be shitting myself that I'd be caught,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I got to a point where I was like, no, I can be grateful for the life I've got. I've never really had to do that, where somebody else, that's what they see as like the kind of best thing. So that was just, I was like, that's quite, in fact, it was actually the kind of perfect size challenge at the time. Because I've been working on how I was dealing with like challenges and, managing emotions. And we all still are, right?
Yeah. For life. Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, I'd just been doing quite a lot of work around how I would deal with challenges. I was like, right, I've got this challenge, right? Come on, how can I deal with this? So it took me a little while to get to that story, but I was quite pleased with it once I did.
It's a good way. It's good.
Absolutely. Not doing it all the time. Like I think it, as you said, it takes practice, trying to remember stuff, and it's just constantly practicing it. Like you probably never absolutely master it, but if we can improve what we do, that's all right, right?
I think that's a really good way to summarise that. Really, I think naming that story. I think if you can, like you said, it takes time. I often find if I've not planned my day very well, for example, I'm running out the house to go to a meeting, and then somebody cuts me up on the road. That's when I tend to find you can start snapping then. But on the other hand, if you organise your day better, you leave early, someone does cut you off, you're like, it's been a rush, something like that, or let him carry on. I'm just going to take my time.
Yeah.
I think as well, in that, it just shows you that it's being more present as well. Do you know what I mean? Not getting rats, like you said there, Ross, about, you've got your golf clubs, Rob, and you were teaching kids throughout the day. You were able to teach them fully in the moment and being present with them there rather than constantly thinking about what had happened.
That's I think that's probably taking a bit of practice. In the past, I wouldn't have kind of done that so well. I would have been thinking about it constantly. Would have been more stressed about it, but it wasn't going to do any good to get overly stressed about it. Joe, I'm like you. I'd probably end up more stressed because I'd be, rushing to where I needed to be and not giving myself enough time, and just not a good start to the day or whatever. And I think if you can plan the day better, and I've certainly tried to do more of that, so I've got loads of time, like, and really try and enjoy like the journey to wherever I'm going. Like, put something good on to listen to. Whether it's a podcast, audiobook, or just some music, and you're like, this is, again, kind of being present. Like, I'm like, this is where I'll be for 20 minutes, where I'm
enjoy it.
On the way there, and
savor that moment.
What's that?
Savor the moment, because you start noticing things, you start observing things, you take it in. You feel good, don't you? You feel really good after it.
Yeah, it's just partly trying to find, okay, how can I make every experience better? Whether it's and even just driving, okay, like can I listen to a great podcast or just put on some good music and just be happy in that time? Because I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to listen to like more educational stuff. Like I'm good where I'm at. At that time. Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah. No, that's good, mate. That's good. Should we wrap it up there then? I think that's a good end to it.
All good.
All good. Yeah, no, thanks, Ross. That's
no worries.
No, it's been great.
Love chatting with you guys.
No, really good. Keep us posted with everything. Good to hear about things over there. Yeah.
What's that?
Good. Be good to hear about how it's going in New Zealand and stuff. I like. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, mate. I'll try to be a bit more active in the group.
No, whatever you can. Yeah. Take your time, mate. No rush. It's good to do this.
Whereabout are you guys both based? Are you kind of up north, Joe?
Yeah. So I'm Manchester.
Yeah, cool.
Johnny's you're Stockport, are you?
Stockport. Yeah, both Reds United fans, unfortunately. If you're into football.
Mate,
crikey, that can't have been good for your mental health over the last 10 years.
I always put on a post. My family are always giving me away tickets, and I'm always thinking about excuses. They'll ask me to my face, "Do you want to come to the game?" And I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell! Oh, what a waste of a night! Or what a waste of a day! Go watch that shit."
It'll get better at some point.
Can't get any worse, can it?
It can't get an awful lot worse, no. You've had a lot of good years, so.
Yeah. I know. And not enough bad ones yet. So let the good times come.
Maybe you'll appreciate it when it comes back more.
Well, I'm already getting grey, so we'll see.
When I lived just outside London, I've been at a few Premier League games, but I had friends that visiting, and we went to watch the Charity Shield, and I can't remember who was playing.
Yeah,
it was about 2017 or something. Might have been Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal might have been involved. I can't remember. And like nothing against like big teams. I love watching big matches and stuff like that. But my mate came away and he was like, "I've learned 3 things this weekend." To be fair, the first one sounds bad. He was like, "I don't like the way Londoners talk. I've no problem with the way Londoners talk." I can't remember the second one. And he said, "I'm glad I don't support a big team." Because I think, I don't think the atmosphere was great. And I think it was maybe just like the expectation.
Yeah, I was going to say expectations.
Big teams. If you're winning, well, that's just what you should be doing. And if you're losing, it's kind of the end of the world. So we support, you guys have heard of Ross County, so that's our little team.
Oh yeah. I know Ross County.
So that's our little team up north. And there's still some expectation. Like we're in the Premier League now, not that saying much in Scotland, but we're not going to do that well in that league. In fact, in a way, we'd be better off the one below and challenging and maybe moving just up and down. And if we drop down, I don't think that would be the worst. It might take us a long time to get back up, but
rebuild.
A bit like I don't know if you'd ever build it up to be so we do much better in the Premier League, but I suppose like you guys have had a lot of good big European nights and obviously Premier League success and all that. But our kind of success was, beating the odds, big team in the cup and stuff like that. I remember. We did kind of build up through the leagues. We've had a bit of investment from like a local businessman, so without that we wouldn't have done it. But we started in a small little ground with like one stand and just grass banks. That's when I started supporting them when I was about 5. I wasn't even watching the football, but it's been kind of cool to see them build up their leagues, but we can't really go much further. We might get into Europe at some point, I don't know, but
you just don't know, do you? Don't know what's around the corner. Sometimes the rebuild's best.
But like it's such a kind of small area. There's not that many people. I don't think we're going to get that much more of a fan base, and it's not really sustainable if you just pump loads of money in.
No, you've got to make it back somewhere else, then, haven't you?
I think for so many people, really, it's something to do on a Saturday. Like most of us are probably like you guys, I'm sure as well. Like it's a social thing. Like I go,
absolutely.
When I'm home, like I try and go and just catch up with my mates and maybe have a beer beforehand, and I'm just there for the chats with the boys, not so much for the football. Like it's the football there.
That's what we say. That's what we say. It's like we look more forwards to meeting up with the lads, and having a beer than and then we just, because I think when we watch United on our own, we've got a WhatsApp group and it's just non-stop for the full 90 minutes. Just he's shit, this is shit, constantly. But like when we get together, it's a complete opposite. We just kind of laugh about the game, but
that's one of the other things I do. Like you guys probably do the fantasy Premier League football and stuff.
But
really just to keep in touch with boys back home. Because we're getting a bit better, but you know what us boys are like. We're not really going to chat about a lot of stuff other than football a lot of the time. So
that's it. We don't tend to do. We've got mates like that.
If we didn't have the fantasy football, we would keep in touch a lot less. So it's a good way of keeping in touch with mates, I must admit.
No, it is. If you find something, we've got mates like that, and then you don't do it intentionally. Could be some weeks will pass, and you go, I've not spoke to such and such a body for ages, and it's kind of like, how do we create that friendship again where we can sort of stay in contact? So doing what you can really is really important. Definitely.
I think the group chats are great, and like we have a lot of banter in it, and it doesn't have to be like serious chats. Just the fact that you're having like banter around, even if it's fantasy football, like it's still nice. You're like, oh, yep, that's my mates. Somebody mentioned a kind of Wednesday check-in video to me recently. Where, like, again, probably great in a WhatsApp group where you just take a quick video, tell people how your week's going. Anything you're kind of working on, any kind of challenges you've got, anything that's good, and then just chuck it in. Probably quite a good way actually to maybe keep up to date with what's going on with it.
That's a good idea.
I could probably do with starting that in one or two WhatsApp groups, I must admit.
No, it's good. Johnny's pretty good at that, checking up on us all.
Good.
You get a message from him, he'll say, no, you're pretty good at that. You'll say, if you've not heard from me for a day, so we pretty much speak daily because of what we've got going on.
Yeah.
But if there's been a day where he's not heard from me, I'll get a text from him, how are you doing, Shag? I'll be like, I'm all right, sorry, mate. Busy one.
What about you, Johnny? What about you, Johnny? What else are you doing, like work-wise?
So I work for pretty boring commercial surveyors. I work for commercial surveyors. I've worked in Manchester for the last 10 years, and obviously I'm an occupational therapist. I like to talk. So when me and Joe, we came together, it was a few years ago now, and I wanted to do, the ACT course, and I felt that helped me. Using that experience in the past and helping other people as well, moving forward. So people that I work with, friends, family as well. I found that it's really helped. So that was one of the things really. It was just that on the techie side, I suppose Joe likes me getting involved with that.
He's good. He's better than me on the techie side. I'm crap. Still learning. I'm like, go on, Johnny.
I'm a bit of a dinosaur that way as well.
So we have our own expertise, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
well, he's got his. I think you're good. I think what he talks about is, he's lived it as well. That's really important. I think like he can relate to people. I think I've worked with a lot of therapists over the years, and just the whole approach. It's like I like to share my story with people. So when I see a client for the first time, I'll tell them a bit about me. I don't care, because I want there's got to be something there that we can relate to before we. It's all about building that therapeutic relationship. I think it's really important. Yeah, you've got to be it's got to be relatable, and I think you've got to have Johnny's. I think you've got that anyway, and he talks well, so definitely.
Yeah,
I found that. Yeah, I've actually found that in my job a little bit. Like, I'm very interested in like kind of mindset area for golf and sport and different things. And I'm like really privileged in work. I become kind of friends with a lot of my clients. You get to know different parts of their lives, and you can kind of tell sometimes if somebody's kind of struggling a little bit, and I'm like, great, like I really want to help this person, sure, with their golf, but just help them feel a bit better about life. And I'm quite like honest and open if I've been having struggles, and like you guys, then if I do that, then they're quite willing to open up to me. And often people have been pretty good at opening up to me, and it's a really nice thing. You might not be able to help that much, but then sometimes them just chatting about it, and then you letting them know that you care, and
that's important.
Looking out for them, it's a really nice thing. I find that helpful. Joe, what were you doing before occupational therapy?
So I retrace. I'm 37. I've just turned 37, but I sort of like 24, 16 up to 24. I worked for my dad. My dad had a building firm for years, and then I worked about it all sorts. I did plumbing and heating, and then I went working for his firm. And I got to about 24, 23, 24, and I was like, I want to do something else. I just didn't have any interest in it really. Just felt like they're calling somewhere else. So I ended up being a support worker for about a year, 2 years, and then it was my auntie that suggested occupational therapy. She said that because her understanding of it, you can work in aids and adaptations, going in assessing people in their home environment who have a disability and recommending suitable adaptations to meet their long-term needs. So I thought, I quite like the sound of that. But I didn't realise there's loads of other areas. So you've got the rehab aspects, you've got the mental health aspects. And funnily enough, up until about 4 years ago, I mean, there is a lot of mental health stuff. I do my job, but I didn't solely focus on it. All I focused on was kind of the physical aspects of things. And then it's funny how I've ended up here, just doing the mental health side of things. So yeah, I just kind of fell into it really from my auntie suggesting it, and it's I've not looked back really, and it's led me to this point.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you know why you've ended up more in the mental health side?
Yeah.
You probably do.
Well, I think it's probably due to my struggles over the years. Like growing up, I had low self-esteem, confidence issues. I used to get very, very anxious. And I used to have a lot of self-doubt. It's just the way I used to talk to myself, really negatively. Almost putting myself down before I'd even try. I can't do that. That sort of attitude. And then I kind of like, I was at uni for 3 years, and I felt like I just breezed through it. Still had that self-doubt and confidence issues. Didn't actually believe that I'd justified my place there. I felt like I shouldn't be. I was almost like an imposter. And I had that probably for a couple of years of my OT career. And then probably within the first few years, my anxiety started getting really bad, and I'd sort of flirted with medication for a while, and I took it on and off, and I thought, I don't want to be staying on this for the long term. And then I had a few meltdowns along the way, and then I found acceptance and commitment therapy, and I thought, because I clicked with it, I got it, and I changed my life, changed the way I respond to things. But this is what I need to specialise in. This is where I need to go with things. I thought, when I talk about it, I feel passionate about it, and I thought, I can do this the rest of my life. Something I'll be able to do now. I've got the skills, but it's almost like I've got the live. For me, it's the lived experience. That's really important. You can relate to people that are in similar situations to you.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That's awesome. It's kind of like that Japanese ikigai thing, right? Where you're then doing something that you're good at. As you say, you've got the experience, you've got skills, the world needs it, definitely.
Oh,
and you
people,
enjoy it, right? So that's your 3 things.
well, this is it. People are living longer as well. I've worked with so many conditions. Motor neurons disease.
Wow.
It's a really difficult condition. When I see someone for the first time with that diagnosis, the whole mental health, it's just like they can't accept that they've got it, that this is a condition that's going to deteriorate quite rapidly. So there's almost an element of coaching therapy I have to do with people to build that relationship up. And it's kind of like if I introduce like a hoist or some equipment, disability equipment, kind of look at it and go, I don't want to try it. And it can take several sessions of me just sitting down and talking about the benefits of it and how it can increase their independence. After building that relationship and going through the sessions and discussing the benefits, it starts to open up. And they're only here for a short time, but they get that it might be a short time, but I'm going to make it the best time, and that can take time. It's like it's one of the most difficult conditions. I think motor neurons disease, and having worked with them, it does touch your heart a bit, and it's like how things can change so rapidly. Because you know that at some point you are sadly going to pass away with it.
Yeah. And just the deterioration in quality of life.
Yeah,
generally laterally, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's kind of my job to kind of keep them for as independent as he can for as long as possible. So yeah, there's a lot of mental health stuff in that retrospect. There's a lot of conditions I work with people that have had strokes, MS. There's a lot of conditions I've worked with. But I think for me, motor neurons disease is the most difficult one, I think, and dementia as well, obviously.
Mate, I've no doubt you'll be brilliant with people working on all those things.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, great, good on you.
No, appreciate that.
There, you mentioned. Sorry, I'm not keeping you guys.
No, you're all right, don't worry.
You mentioned there like that feeling of a bit of imposter syndrome and
yeah,
that kind of thing. I remember hearing somebody say recently, a way to think about it. Like I don't know what you guys' relationships like with your parents. I'm very fortunate. I've got a great relationship with my parents, and they've been brilliant for me. But any time that I would, or I still think, sometimes I'm not good enough or whatever. But it's a bit of a kind of put down almost on my parents. That's kind of almost saying, well, they didn't do a good enough job for me, which is maybe not entirely true because like later in life they've not had that much a part of my life. They're a big part of my life, but I'm doing my own thing as well. But it's almost a bit of an insult to my parents or other family as well that if or anybody else that have brought us up. I just thought that was quite a nice kind of reminder as well.
Yeah, sure.
That I try and kind of think about, or almost that thing of like when we're hard on ourselves. I do the odd time a client can be hard on themselves. I'm like, if that was your friend, would you talk to them like you're talking to yourself? Like,
brilliant way. Exactly, brilliant way. That, do you know what? I always say that to myself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Speak to yourself as if you'd speak to a good friend, caring, loving. You're listening to them. It's a good thing to remember. Next time something happens, because we're only human at the end of the day. We all make some mistakes. Not life. It's life. It's life. But, it's how you recover. It's like that's what people have to remember, don't they?
Yeah, I think we're probably all trying to be better, and that's fine. But also kind of being okay with who we are and where we are just now.
Yeah.
All right, and try to enjoy that process of getting better and enjoying where you are.
Absolutely, there'll always be someone that will try and bring you down, but it's a minority, isn't it?
that's been more their issue as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
like,
I agree, Ross.
Bring you down to kind of push themselves up, sort of thing.
Yeah. I agree, Ross. I agree. You couldn't have summarised that any better, mate.
That sort of thing of hurt people, right?
Absolutely. And I always treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know, so
absolutely.
Right, we'll wrap it up then, guys.
Thanks a lot for your time, Ross.
Good man. Thanks for coming on, Ross.
No worries, guys. Great to see you.
Well, you too. Have a good day. Take care, Johnny. Bye. See ya.